Hello everybody, back again with another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week is gone well for you, and I hope that today is gone well for you. Today is Saturday, August 3rd, 2024. It's about 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope that you all had a great week. I hope that it was a productive week for you, and of course, I hope that it was a non-stressful week for you. As for me, I'm doing good myself. Had a pretty good week this week. Pretty typical week at work. Nothing too out of the ordinary, and I'm hoping it's the same case for you. Nothing out of the ordinary for you. This video is going to be a video made for people dealing with anxiety on the job, right? Whether it's due to coworkers, whether it's due to managers, whether it's due to the job itself, right? If you have anxiety at work, it can create a miserable quality of life. And I want you to ask yourself these three questions. Number one, do you really need this job? This job in particular? If not, do you have an exit strategy? And the final question is, what do you do after this? And so we're going to go through these three questions and break these questions down. And hopefully, this video relieves some of the stress and anxiety when it comes to, being on the job, right? You don't want to dread going to work anywhere, right? So let's talk. So you have anxiety on the job, right? Do you need that job? I mean, really stop and think about this. Do you really need that job? That job in particular, that employer in particular, right? You might have a boss that belittles you, talks down to you, even outright disrespects you. You may have co-workers that do the same. You may have maybe you're dealing with customers that are causing you stress and anxiety on this job. Do you really need this job? I'm here to tell you there are other opportunities out here. You should never have to suffer through that type of belittlement, through that type of disrespect from any human being. Because if there's one thing I want you to remember, I want you to remember this. Remember that we're all human beings at the end of the day. No one deserves to be disrespected. No one deserves to be belittled. Remember, human beings at the end of the day. You're a human being watching. I'm a human being. Everyone on your job is a human being. Right? We all deserve respect on these jobs. Right? No one should be mistreated on the job. If that's happening to you, you should ask, do you need this job? If you say no, then that could be a stepping stone into developing an exit strategy, right? Now, do you have an exit strategy if you would like to exit this job? Do you have 6 months of expenses saved, preferably a year of expenses saved? Are you prepared to leave this job without having another job lined up? Now, I don't necessarily recommend it unless the disrespect and belittlement has gotten out of control and you have attempted to address this with your bosses, co-workers directly, HR directly, and they choose to do nothing about it, right? That's when you say, okay, I might need an exit strategy. And just knowing that there's a way out, just knowing that you have an exit strategy alone will bring your anxiety level down about the job because, well, now you're not in a situation where you necessarily need the job because you have an exit strategy. You have 6 months to a year of expenses saved, right? And if you don't have that saved, my recommendation is to start right now. Have 6 months to a year worth of expenses saved up if you don't have it. If you're dealing with this, that might be the best strategy. If you're not already applying for other jobs. Now, if you don't have that, my recommendation is to not only start saving that, but to start applying to other positions. But do keep in mind, even if you get another position, you want to keep saving until you have 6 months to a year of living expenses saved up for you and your family. You have the exit strategy. Some of that anxiety is gone already, right? So we went through the first two questions. We talked about whether you need this job. You don't need this job. You don't really need any job. Do you have an exit strategy? Yes, you have an exit strategy. So the final question is, what do you do after this? After you've quit the job, what do you do? Now, there's different options. Of course, the most obvious one would be to start applying for other positions. And, that's what I would do, because you don't want to have a gap in income, of course. But another thing you could do is develop a stream of side income. There's many different ideas out here. You can research them online, but find a way. And then even if you're working that job that's stressing you out, start today. Develop a stream or streams of income, outside of a job. And that'll bring your anxiety down alone because in your mind, you're going to know that that job is not your only stream of income, right? So you don't have to have quite as much anxiety about going to that job because, like I said, that job with all those toxic people toxic bosses, toxic managers, toxic coworkers. In your mind, you know that job is not your only stream of income. In addition to that, hopefully you have your 6 months to a year worth of living expenses saved up. And like I said, if you don't, I would highly recommend applying for different positions and at the same time saving up 6 months to a year of living expenses. If you have 6 months to a year of living expenses saved, then you kind of can just leave, right? But if you do this without having a job lined up, you do need to ask yourself, what are you going to do after this? Because, we have to do something. We have to keep a roof over our heads. We have to keep the food on our tables. And so what do you really do? You could start a business, right? You can develop some sort of other stream of income. You could work, maybe take a pay cut and work a job that's a bit less stressful. Maybe you can kind of just chill out for a little while and realize that, wow, I don't have to wake up in the morning and go to a place that I dread every single day, right? And so that's why I want you to, if you're stressed out, you have a lot of anxiety about going to work, take a deep breath and calm down and just go through the 3 questions. Number 1, do you need this job? Number 2, do you have an exit strategy? Number 3, what do you do after this? Once you have these 3 questions fully answered, hopefully the amount of stress that you have about going to the job, the anxiety, the possible depression, hopefully you can get those stress and anxiety levels down, right? And it won't necessarily be an easy process answering all 3 of these questions. You might be in a position where you need the job. You might be in a field where it's not as easy to get a job. What I want you to do is do the best you can. Try your best. At the same time, make sure you're saving up 6 months to a year worth of living expenses. Even if you have to be as frugal as possible, you must do this in order to save your mental health, right? Say you don't have an exit strategy because you need the job. The same thing applies. Be as frugal as you can, save up as much as you can, and then once you have the appropriate amount of living expenses needed, you will be able to, have the exit strategy, have the 6 months to a year worth of living expenses saved up. What do you do after this? It's not easy. Maybe you change careers, right? There's many different directions you can go in. Maybe you move cities for opportunity. Maybe you move out of state for opportunity. Or like I said before, develop a side business or something like that. Or maybe you already have one. Maybe you can scale it to where you can be able to get a full-time income off of that. Just know there are options out here in the world. You do not have to settle for a toxic job, toxic coworkers, toxic work environment. Understand, look, I know a lot of these work environments are extremely toxic, right? You feel like you're all alone at the job, even though there's other people around you. But these aren't people that have your back. These aren't people that care about you. These are people that are there, and all they do is bring your energy levels down. All they do is create unwanted stress and anxiety in your life, right? Don't let them do that to you. Don't let any human being have that level of power over you. Never let a boss disrespect you. Never let a boss disrespect you, right? The title of a boss, right? That is just that's basically just a work title. You know, when you're outside of that job, that person essentially has no power over you. And the power that they have, the quote unquote power that they have over you, is artificial anyway. Just remember that. When you go to work and you have a boss, right? No boss should ever yell at their employee. No boss should ever belittle their employee, try to embarrass them in front of other people. Those behaviors should not be tolerated, right? You never let that type of stuff happen to you. And as soon as that starts happening, you should address it right away. But at the same time, go through the 3 questions. Do you really need this job? If not, do you have an exit strategy? If you do, what do you do after this? You know, maybe you, like I say, change industries. Maybe the industry you're in, you know, a lot of the jobs are similar. You know, a lot of the jobs in your industry have toxic coworkers, toxic bosses. You know, might just be time to change industries, change cities, change states, develop a business, do something. But look, bring your anxiety level down, calm down, and realize you have options in this world. You are never stuck anywhere. And that's what I want you to understand. So you are never stuck anywhere, especially a job, employment. You're not stuck there. And you have to understand that you are not stuck at a job. I know it feels like it sometimes. I know it feels like there's no way out. The stress and anxiety of going to work. You're not stuck. You're not stuck when you have the mentality where you're going to formulate a plan for yourself. Because you have to think about yourself first when it comes to any job. Stress is too much for you, maybe time to leave. Because guess what? Whether you're there or not, that business is going to function no matter what. Because all they're going to do is bring in another employee, you know, that they're going to disrespect, overwork, belittle, and the cycle is going to continue. They're going to quit, and they're going to have to bring in somebody else, and maybe they will realize that they have to change their ways because people keep leaving. But who cares about all that? Because this is about you at the end of the day, and your career, and your happiness, most importantly. Hope this video has calmed you down. I hope that it has really helped you out, And yeah, when you have anxiety, come back to this video and watch it. And hopefully it calms you down, especially anxiety on the job. Come back and ask yourself the three questions. Do you need this job? Do you have an exit strategy? And what do you do after this? Thank you for watching. I really hope that this video has helped you out. Thanks.